Welcome back to Jaeger Racing, and today we're going to be installing the Verus Engineering Underbody Flow Kit along with their Fender Evacuation Kit. These go hand in hand, tie into one another to allow the flow from the front of the car to flow underneath and out the back with relative ease. Something that Ford didn't do the greatest a job on, and Verus has found a way to improve upon it. This kit is specifically made for the GT3 or the GT350s, but we're going to see if it fits onto a standard GT. The expectation is it should fit just fine. If there's any findings that I find that make it a little bit more difficult or change for the GT versus the GT350, I'm going to let you know so that when you purchase this kit, you can know that it fits your Ford GT. Alright, so this is going to be your passenger side. This will be your driver's side, and I believe that piece there also goes to the driver's side to complete it. These are all your mounting brackets and associated hardware and the turning vanes that actually go into the slots right here. Those are your Fender Evacuation Kit setups, and those will easily go in the front fender there, and we're going to be installing those first. That'll be a pretty quick and easy job, hopefully. And then we can get to mounting the mounting brackets and then bolting these onto the car. So let's get to it. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to install the passenger side Fender Evacuation Kit. So pretty simple. Once you grab the correct one, which big long aspect here, shorter tapered here on this side, you can kind of see as you bring it up, 2 hands needed. You can see pretty quickly it's going to sit in that hole there. You're going to drill a few holes along the side. Alright, so next step, we're going to use the clip that we took out of there, and we're going to install our fender liner. Make sure when you do this, you're going to put the plastic here. You're going to put this behind this. That's what you want. And just like many things in life, you want to make sure that's tucked in there nice. And it's just going to hold it there as you do some of the other things here. We're going to be taking that back off here shortly, so don't worry too much. Okay, now that we're in there, we pull this off really quick. So that's loose. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to get in here, which this is the subframe here. We're going to take, and we're going to put a hex head or a hex riv nut in here, and then we're going to use this bracket, and we're going to mount that puppy up here like so. So I have a riv nut gun handle thing, so I'm going to use this, and this allows me to quickly get that in there instead of using brute force from the tool that they give you, which still will work, but just makes it a little bit simpler on my end. And again, we just go into here. We want to place this in the middle somewhat. I can't use my left hand, so I have to do this off camera. Something like this. And then we pump. And once we pump, it gets stuck. Alright, so said riv nut is now installed right here. And now we can put said panel up into here. And here this is temporarily installed. I didn't want to tighten it up because until we get the other piece on, don't want to tighten this up just yet. Alright, so on the flat bottom piece, we're going to go to the rear passenger side. This is the factory little deflector, and this is the bolt we're going to take out to mount the rear mount. That one's pretty easy, considering you're reusing the same brackets. They're the same bolt there. So now that it's there, now we gotta do some drilling to get the middle bracket set in lined up. Something like that or something. So about midway through the vehicle on the passenger side, you have a small hole, a square hole, and a round hole. So we're going to use round riv nut, and go in the round hole. Okay, to do the other hole, we're going to have to drill a hole. So what I did was bolt this side in, and that tells me where that's going to go. And I'm going to put it right in the middle, so it gives me some adjustability. And we're going to drill a hole and put another riv nut there. So for my first difference, as we go to do the passenger side mount up here, there's no small little hole after the big hole that they use the slide bracket on. So we're going to have to drill a hole where that needs to be so that we can get a nut or a bolt through there. Not a big deal, just a quick little screw. Okay, so when I was reading the instructions, it didn't really say if you had to drill this hole or not, but I did, and this is like magic metal behind here, or my drill bits are really, really dull. Either way, kind of sucked to drill, but drilled it, put the riv nut in, riv nut here, and now you have your middle bracket, front or rear bracket, and the front bracket up there already. Got my turning vanes already on the front, and just so you can see what that looks like right there. That's what she looks like. This front bracket here, like I already explained, had to drill a little hole here to get the slip nut to get behind it. Front bracket in. These are all ready to go. I took the bolts out of there so that I can put that in, and now we should be ready to put the panel up. So to help myself, I'm going to attempt to use this jack stand. About this as much as you care. This is on the bottom of the car, so the whole bit where, you don't want to scratch it kind of goes out the window. Even though it's pretty, but it's still difficult. And what I'm focusing on now is just getting all the hard points that I mounted to the car. Hold it on, and keep in mind, this is like thin metal, so you can kind of tweak and pull and stretch and do what you need to do. This is going to be the one that I feel is the biggest fun part, because you have the bracket for this piece, and then this all attaching together, so this will definitely be the fun one. I have that, and I'm just going to hold it. I think that's not really where that was. So again, this is kind of a pain in the next one because you're going through multiple pieces here. There you go. Don't be jackwagon, get all three in before you start hammering down on things. All right. So as you might have noticed, I didn't attach this yet, and that was because I was curious to see how this is all going to run down and how thick it would be. So now I'm going to go back and drill those holes. Also, there's no hole right there. There's no hole right there. So I'm going to make one, which is fine. It's just a subframe. I'll make a hole, do a riv nut, and I'll probably put a small riv nut because it's holding a piece of plastic up, which is already held up by this, which is held up by that, which is held, so it doesn't need to be extremely rigid. Alright, so we're all done. You can see our turning vanes here, the flat bottom portion here, Fender Evacuation kit here. Something to note, I had to put a riv nut here so that I could put a bolt, because in the instructions they actually have some under tray thing that goes to here or something of that nature. And on the GT it does not go there, so I just put a riv nut with that. Seems to work just fine. And now we're done with the passenger side. We can go to the driver. All right, so now we're on to the driver's side, and I've kind of laid this out semi. So you have your evacuation kit attached with the first piece, and then the side smaller piece, rear bracket, center bracket, and then that's the bracket to hold the fender evacuation up, as well as the bracket to hold the inner side of the flat bottom thing. I'm not going to call it a flat bottom. Not a flat bottom. But something like it. So this is how it's going to go on the car. We're just going to put it onto the car there. And we'll see how this turns out. And keep in mind, this kit is specifically made for a GT350, so this is going on a GT. So it's not perfect, but so far all I've found is I had to drill one hole and I had to add one riv nut. So two differences on the passenger side, and we'll see what we find on the driver's side. And those are pretty minimal differences. And if you're willing to put the first riv nuts into the car, you should be willing to put two small holes in a subframe to put everything on. So overall, pretty direct fit so far. So just like the last one, we have to take off this little bubba here, and then that piece is going to sit in the back side of this wheel well here, and that's going to allow the air to better conform and do things instead of letting air do air things over here, and over here it'll do things like there or something like that. So we'll get started. So Fender evacuation kit, what we're going to do is we're going to slide this up into here behind that piece there. Slap that into there. And that gives us an idea of our fitment. And from doing the previous one, we know we need our bracket, and this is going to go right in here, which means we're going to need a riv nut to go right inside of this space here. One thing to note is this is our last riv nut, which is not a bad thing, being that means everything else should just be bolted in. So just like last time, we're going to center it in this hole as best we can. And then start riv nutting. So now we have our bolt here, we have our mount firmly placed, fender evacuation ready to be bolted to there. But since we're going to be doing the little flat bottom piece that goes right here, we're going to hold off because these screws are used to hold that all together. Okay, so just like in the 350 video, you're going to take this bolt out here, and this mount is going to mount just right there. And that's going to give you the initial place to mount that item. So now that's all mounted up, peacefully sitting there calmly, waiting for the day. So just like we did on the other side, we're going to take this off here, and then we're going to bolt the rearward mount right there. Oh, sorry. So we're going to bolt the rearward mount right there. For the middle bracket, we're going to go grab this right here. It's a 10 millimeter. Take this off. Middle bracket goes up, just like so. And so now the middle bracket is on. Now we can take this, and I'm going to loosely mount it on these 3 brackets and face it forward, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so got this plugged back in. For the GT, once again, you have to put a riv nut right here, so this has something to mount onto. I opted to utilize this hardware, considering I'll have the flat bottom piece connected. I felt like this was pretty well supported, where I didn't feel like I needed to go too ham on it. We'll see if that pays off, or if my laziness hurts me. Other than that, now we just have to install the piece that goes right here. And let me just say, driver's side is way easier than the passenger side. So I'm taking these back off because you also need to put the other ones right there. And I'm going to set up a few more of these so I can knock them over and be annoyed. Alright. So now install the last piece of the puzzle. You know, find the holes. It's like many things in life. If you find the hole, you earn something. Good. One thing to keep in mind, these are made to like lock in there. So it can kind of feel like you're stripping it when you're not. Don't be so afraid, you know, just power down. Make that bitch go pop pop. Sure everything's tight there. We got 2 more to do. Make sure to remember to do the 2 inners, as it's very easily forgotten and you get so excited that you're done. And like many things, make sure you get one in and the other before you go ham. She's on. All right, so that's it. You got your fender evacuation. Turning vanes here. And flat bottom piece there. It's a little bent up right now because my jack stand is kind of touching it. It's okay, it'll live. Everything's on, good to go. We can turn the tire back and then we can put her back down and talk it out. All right guys, thanks for watching. That's the end of the install. So this is our Verus fender evacuation kit, as well as their underbody smoothing trays. Basically all we're doing is taking air that's in this area, smoothing it and allowing it to evacuate the car underneath, which will basically take away some drag. This car does have a bit of drag because it looks so good. That's why I'm going with that. Overall, that's what we're trying to accomplish though, is smoothing the air, making it flow faster, better, you know, everything faster, better, and allow the car to hit the track a little bit harder. Soon, hopefully soon, I will also have a front splitter on the car, which kind of goes with all of this stuff. You know how it goes, supply shortages, that's what's, you know, holding me up a little bit, but we'll get that fixed up and it'll be on the car soon enough, and then we'll be able to hit the track and hit it how we really want to, with some good front downforce, making it possible. Alright guys, thanks for watching. You have a good rest of your day.